there's nothing like actually making your own medicines on that level. So that is one thing I would say. Now here's a little quick list of some of the other health benefits of this amazing plant, Potentilla. Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video, I'm going to share some information with you on a beautiful little plant that you've probably seen everywhere, maybe not knowing what it is, but it is called Potentilla. Now, the information that I share with you in this video is not meant to be medical advice. This is meant to educate and entertain you only. So please do your own due diligence and use your own common sense when it comes to not only using plant medicine, but identifying and foraging for different plants out in your area, even out in your own yard, especially if you have a big yard that tends to have a ton of weeds in it. A lot of the plants that we're starting to really realize are not weeds. We've looked at them as common weeds. So Potentilla is a plant that was in my dad's original book, From the Shepherd's Purse. And of course, all of my dad's 48 plants made it into my new book, Be Your Own Shaman. Now, this plant is also known as Cinquefoil. I used to call it Cinquefoil because it's not spelled like, so Cinquefoil, S-I-N-K, it's spelled C-I-N-Q-U-E, almost like, there's a place in Italy called the Cinque Terre, which there's 5 little towns along the mountainside. So cinque is also 5. But the way it's pronounced is Cinquefoil. So it got its name from this because the leaves have 5, almost like 5 fingers on the leaf. And that's really where the name Cinquefoil comes in. But the flowers, these little beautiful yellow flowers, also have 5 petals, and they look like little hearts. And they've got these beautiful stamens, and the center is also yellow. Now, Potentilla or Cinquefoil is in the rose family. And it's one of those plants that you might love in your flower garden, or you just might admire it because it grows all along the side of the road. If you're a hiker like me and you know how to identify it, you will see that Potentilla grows almost everywhere, quite prolifically. Now, it can grow as a shrub, almost shrub-like if you contain it in like a pot or in a flower bed, or it grows, if it isn't contained like that, it'll actually grow in tendrils kind of along the ground. And it is very easy to identify because of the little yellow flowers, the fact that there's 5 petals, and then the leaves are, like I said, look like a cannabis plant because it's like 5 fingers. In fact, that's one of the common names is also 5 fingers or silver leaf, because underneath the bottom of the leaf, it's got a little bit of a silver to it. Now, the part of the plant that you use of Potentilla is the entire plant. And even though most of the time people will cut the stems or they'll just pluck the flowers and sometimes the leaves, and they'll leave the roots in, you can use the root. In fact, the root is very well known as an astringent, as a wound healer. You can actually use it in the field if you know how to identify it if you get a wound. And this is one thing that I watched my dad do, is when someone would get cut, or if we were out, we were always out camping and hiking and just out like a bunch of little wild kids sometimes, just out with my dad. And my mom was there too, of course. But one of the things that I watched my dad do was actually dig up the root of a Potentilla plant, clean the root, and then kind of with a little knife, clear away the outside of the root and there's the white of the root inside. And then he would make these little kind of cuts in it. And then if one of us had a wound with maybe some bleeding, you would put that the root right directly on the wound. And it would actually help stop the bleeding. And you can make a poultice also out of the stems, the flowers, the leaves. There's actually these little fruit pods, also kind of similar to what you see on a rose bush, because this is in the rose family. But you can actually cut from the stem a Potentilla plant, rinse it off, chop it up, let it dry a little bit, make it into a poultice. And in my book, I have recipes for several different types of poultices. And then you can actually use it for wound healing. And this is something that I have personally done, and it's easy. There's nothing like actually making your own medicines on that level. So that is one thing I would say. Now, here's a little quick list of some of the other health benefits of this amazing plant, Potentilla. So it's got powerful anti-inflammatory properties. It's amazing for digestive health, wound healing. It has antimicrobial properties. It's also will provide relief from menstrual pain. It's got antioxidant benefits. And while the studies are still pretty new, it is being studied for its anti-tumor benefits, which is amazing. And this is something that I really love about what I feel is happening in the world of plant medicine, is starting to gain so much interest for normal people. And we want to opt out of the different options that are offered to us right now. And we're starting to learn that there are common plants and plants we consider weeds that have a ton of medicinal benefits. And this is, again, I'm going to just give a super shameless plug for my book, Be Your Own Shaman. There are 101 plants in this book. Now, 7 of them are psychedelics and sacred plants, and I don't teach you how to dose those or how to prepare those. That's a whole separate section. But there are 94 powerful plants in this book, and I teach you how to identify them. I teach you how to make them into different things like tinctures, infusions, decoctions, poultices, different things that you can actually use in your home medicine chest. And to me, this is the best time to be alive and to realize that we are surrounded by a medicine chest of beautiful plant medicine. So what I would say is, what do you think about Potentilla? And are you familiar with it? Did you even know that maybe you're walking over it, or hopefully you're not spraying? This is not something that you're spraying in your yard. My mantra is, if there are things in your yard you don't want, you should pull them. You should pull them out and not spray anything on them unless you're spraying something that's got some nutrition in it, and it's something that's really good for your plants in your yard. Because if you're going to be foraging in your own yard, then it is definitely something to be aware of. So I would love to know what you think about the beautiful Potentilla or Cinquefoil. I know many people who use this plant, and I think that's just because the world that I rotate in, but it's a beautiful plant to have in your medicinal garden. And you can collect the plant when the dew has dissipated off, between about 10 in the morning and 5 in the evening. You can brew it up into a lovely tea and just get not just the taste and the flavors, but just knowing that you're getting some beautiful benefits that are for prevention, especially if you think about the powerful antioxidants and the powerful anti-inflammatory benefits of something like Potentilla. And a lot of this is due to its powerful tannins, and it's got a lot of flavonoids in it as well. So I would love to know what you think in the comments. Are you familiar with this plant, and how do you use it? So thanks again for tuning in, guys. I hope that you learned something in this little video, and we'll see you in the next one.